Just want to say I'm feeling a lot better about everything recently. So, yeah, just based on that one video saying I was losing myself, I'm back in business. At least I'm trying to get back in business. So I'm really happy about that. But regardless of everything, I am here, as the title suggests, to talk about my... Hold on, I'm going to pull it up right now. One of the worst Reddit posts I've ever heard in my life. And you guys know I don't want to go for none of that cheap content, the Reddit content, but this needs the word to come out. I need to get this out because this is probably one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. The shit that one decision can cause, especially based off this Reddit post, is insane. Also, look at that shutter speed. I'm going to have to play around with the fucking webcam and see, like, that is so funny. You can see, like, the actual shutter speed of the camera. That's funny with the guitar. But in any case, I will now show you guys this Reddit post. I'll probably link it in the comments. If you guys want to put this on in the background, so be it, and just hear my ass go crazy, so be it. Should I put it on the side? I'll debate. Hold on. Okay, so it scrolls with it too. So I put it in the corner here. I'm gonna move out of the way. Wait, should I move here? Because that actually is better for me. Yeah, I'll move here. Yeah, the Reddit post is now over here in the corner. Fuck yeah. And it's time to talk about it. So, okay, you know what? Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm messing this up so bad. What? Grab, please. There we go. That way, now I can be like, it's here, and I'm reading from it. There we go. Let's get to business. I'm fucking around too much. This post needs to get made aware of. This post needs to be more shown to more, like, needs to be seen by more people. I saw this at work for context, and it sent me on a 40-minute frenzy telling my girlfriend, the love of my life, my future eventual wife, Anissa, that I will never cheat, and that, like, rhetorically, I hate women. I don't actually hate women. I just hate any woman that tries to make an advance on me. I'm scared I'll jump into her arms. But anyways, this is the reason why. The post starts, my selfishness ruined my family. Here, should I do the TLDR? I don't know. Well, let's actually just read the post and then let's do TLDR after. I am a selfish person. At least that's what I'd like to say to myself repeatedly almost every night when I hear the silence in my home. My children aren't here. My ex-husband hates me with good reason. My immediate family is divided, and I never stopped hating myself for what I did. My selfish act happened in 2015. I just turned 39 and I admit I took my ex-husband for granted. My ex always told me that I was beautiful on a daily basis. He always wanted to have sex. He always took care of me, and he treated me like his equal. He never treated me like a queen or a princess. I was his partner. We'd been married for 20 years at that time. High school sweethearts. Each other's one and only, and it just felt right. My family loved him. My brother looked up to him, and my ex helped him through a lot of his tough situations. My ex was one of the people that my ex is my ex was the one. Okay, sorry, this bitch done fucking ruined her own vocabulary. My ex was the one person called when this bitch ruined her own grammar. Okay, my ex was one of the few people my friends and close friends called when they were in trouble and they needed help. He was a damn good man. There we go. I'm so sorry for that. Through the years, I gave him two headstrong boys. At the time of his... what? Through the years, I gave him two headstrong boys. At the time of this, they were 18 and 16, and had twin princesses, each 13. I gained weight and felt self-conscious that he would tell me that I was beautiful. Well, I am self-conscious and he would tell me that I was beautiful. Our arguments were always few and far between. We always talked everything out. But when we did argue, it was usually about sex or the lack thereof on my behalf, and things I would refuse to do in bed. It wasn't as if I didn't want to do them. It was just that I wasn't in the mood, and he understood. When I turned 39, my birthday party was revealing a new me. I spent all year in the gym, doing yoga and Pilates. My effort took me from being 180 to 185 pounds, and for me, it was an amazing transformation. I've always been a chubby girl, so to have a body that was tight and fit is a new experience. My ex-husband also went to the gym with me, but not as much. He went from 220 to 225 and was starting to shape his body. My ex-husband couldn't keep his hands off me, but for some reason I still wasn't in the mood. It's not like he didn't try. We went to dinners, danced, and did regular walks, and he always helped me around the house, and I always could see in his eyes how much he loved and lusted for me. 20 years together, and he still looked at me with desire. I believe any woman would desperately want that, but mentally, I just wasn't in the mood. At the time, I thought I was going through early menopause, since we only had sex 2, maybe 3 times a month. Damn, sorry. Sorry. And I was just a one and done. But he wanted more, and no matter how much he tried, he just wasn't into it. He mentioned couples counseling, but yet I refused. So now my selfishness comes into play. A new manager started working in my office a few days after my birthday. He was slightly younger and handsome, and for some reason he took an interest in me. At first I ignored him, but then it went from ignoring to casual conversation. Then he flirted, and I showed him my ring. However, 2 months of constant flirting, I flirted back, which led me to telling him about my life, and I found myself thinking about him more and more. This was an emotional affair. I know that now, but at the time I felt high. My ex-husband suspected there was something off with me. We had a heated argument about it. One that I honestly believe started, but one that I honestly believe started. There we go. He went to kiss me, and I subconsciously made a disgusted look. It wasn't towards my ex. I was thinking about this man when he leaned in, and I felt disgusted with the whole thing. At least that's what I'd like to say to myself. A week after that day, I told the new manager to meet me at a cafe so we could talk. I had every intention to tell this man to leave me alone, to tell him that I can't do this, but before I could say anything to him, he kissed me and my mind went blank. Sorry, this bitch is crazy. That was the beginning of our 6-month affair. During that time, I had done things to this man that my ex wanted. I was more eager, more willing. I was always in the mood. I believed it was because it was something new. My ex and I did have sex during this time, but not as frequent. I began pushing him away, nitpicking on the little habits. I even belittled him. I'm ashamed of how I treated him during this time. I only realized what I was doing when my brother came to visit me and told me that my ex confided in him and how he was depressed and was feeling and thinking about filing a separation. And saying that he felt that I didn't love him anymore and he was starting to fall out of love with me. It snapped me out of it. So I immediately called it off, quit my job, and told myself that I was going to make my husband feel loved and wanted. I was going to fix this. I was going to be a better wife if I could. Pausing here. I don't know how anyone sleeps with anyone on the job. See, listen. From my own history, I've fumbled so many bags. And I fumbled bags at work. And that was one of the worst things I've ever experienced in my life. Because I had no clue what I was saying. I was a kid and I fumbled so fucking hard. I don't know how anyone can do this in like a 9-to-5 work environment. Like when I'm at work, they're my coworkers. Nothing more, nothing less. I can't get close. I can't do nothing because knowing me, I'm gonna yap my booty off and something gonna happen. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. I can't be doing this. What inspires this? He's handsome. Who cares? Who cares? Anyways, let's keep going. This bitch is still fucking crazy. My AP showed up at my house with a box from my office, stuff from my desk that I requested to have shipped. We spoke. He wanted to know what he did wrong, and I told him I need to fix my marriage. I told him to leave, and he wanted one last go around, and I told him no, but he begged, pleaded, and like a fool, I agreed. We went to the guest room, and we went at it. I do not know how long we were doing it, but when he was on top of me, I felt him violently jerk back, and there was a loud bang. I sat up, and my ex was looking at me. My AP was on the floor, and there was a large hole in the wall. I tried to say something to my ex, but his eyes were bloodshot. There were tears flowing, and his lips were trembling. I could see that he was in so much pain, and I felt disgusted. I watched as my AP stood up and attempted to leave. My ex looked at him, and my AP told him that if he knew what was good for him, he'll step back. So my ex attacked him. I screamed and cried, told my ex to stop, and out of desperation, I jumped on his back, which resulted on me getting slammed to the floor. Everything got hazy for a while. Words sounded muffled, and when I came to, My ex had my AP on his side and he was on the phone. All I could do was stare at my AP's swollen face and the blood and teeth on the floor beside him. There was a loud bang on the door as I watched my ex put the phone on speaker, slowly placed it on the floor, dropped to his knees, and placed his hands on the back of his head. The door opened and the police came in, handcuffed him, and the paramedics came in moments later. I soon learned that he called 911 on himself. Everything went to shit in a handbasket. At the hospital, my father didn't utter a word to me. He just looked at me with shame. My brother was yelling at me. He looked crushed, asking me how I could have done that to my ex. My mother was consoling me, telling me that it will be all right. This mother's full of shit, which caused my father to yell at her. Damn right. His family was furious. His sisters threatened, and his parents looked like they were wanting to send me to an early grave. I approached my children, and they refused to speak to me. My sons couldn't even look at me. My AP was heavily injured and needed reconstructive surgery on his face. My ex practically shattered his face. At the hospital, a woman came to my room and immediately attacked me. My brother pulled her off me, and it turned out she was my AP's wife. I didn't know he was married. He never wore a ring, never once said anything. It made me feel even more terrible. Leading to the trial, my boys stand with their grandparents on my husband's side, and the girls refused to talk to me. My ex didn't want to see me as well. I tried to visit him at county, and I was denied. My brother made sure my ex went to the correctional facility he was working at so he could keep an eye on him. When I asked my brother if he could relay a message to me, he told me to go to hell. During the trial, it was the first time in 3 months that I saw him. He looked at me with such anger. It hurt me more than anything that I could ever imagine. He always looked at me with love. Even when we were mad at one another, he always looked at me with love. But during that trial, it was hate, and I needed to excuse myself so I could cry in the restroom. Bitch, you done did this to yourself! As the days went by, and I was forced to recount my affair in every detail for all to hear. When I told him how long it was, my ex looked crushed, and my father stood up and walked out of the courtroom. As they both should. During my ex's testimony, I learned that he came home to surprise me with a lunch and a weekend trip for two to the Catskills. He had a full romantic getaway planned, only to walk in on us, and he reacted. He stated that the AP ordered him to step aside. He snapped and beat him, only to stop when he tossed me off of him. He quickly called 911 and heard the recording at court. Hearing the pain in his voice, his sobs, as he did what the operator told him to do, was soul-crushing. The AP couldn't verbally testify and was heavily medicated. Sorry, I'm laughing at this motherfucker. Don't ever cheat, bro. So they used images of what he looked like, and which turned my stomach, because I was responsible for all of this. My ex smashed his eye socket, cheekbones, and destroyed his jaw. They said that they were bone fragments too small to piece together. My ex was charged with a third-degree felony and sentenced to 7 years, which caused my sons to shout in protest and my daughters and his family to let out a wail that haunts me to this day. The first 3 months were torturous. I was sued by my SCBX wife, I guess, for alienation of affection. My ex filed for divorce. My eldest moved out. My other son stayed in his room, and my twins were rebelling hard. My former sister-in-laws attacked me in the middle of a Price chopper. His mom spat in my face when I tried to apologize to her. My father and brother refused to speak to me. Eventually, I needed to find a new job, but since there was no money coming in, I nearly went through all of the savings, but I was pretty much blacklisted in my field. It was bad publicity from the accounting firm, so I started working in retail and worked as a seasonal H&R block adjuster during the tax rush. I almost lost the house. My ex refused to allow me to visit him, and every letter was returned. Crying in the shower became an almost daily occurrence. My parents almost separated because my mother constantly defended me. My brother refused to acknowledge me. Even my friends I had since grade school were divided. So I began to have thoughts of ending things, of picking up my belongings and disappearing. I'm gonna take a pause here. She fucking should. She ruined an entire, more than one family's life. She ruined her own family's life. She ruined her ex-husband's family's life. She ruined the AP's family's life. She's ruined her friendships. She needs to just pack up and go. Start up new. Leave like Tupac. Go to Cuba. I'm gonna keep reading. The guilt was so heavy that eventually I saw a therapist and she scolded me. They told me that I just got comfortable with my ex. I didn't see him as a husband. I saw him solely as a friend with benefits, and I treated him as such. And she's right. I did. I got too comfortable with him. I saw him as a companion, yet he saw me as his wife, the mother of his children, the woman he loved and desired, and I took him for granted. Almost a year went by, a year of silence from my children. When I cooked dinner, they would collect their food and go to their rooms, refusing to even look at me. I did have a few meltdowns, begging them to say something to me, but nothing. My brother got married, and I wasn't invited. My kids were. I continued to try and visit my ex in hopes that he placed me on the visitor list, but I was always denied. My letters were still being returned. It made me severely depressed, and I knew I deserved it. Then one day out of the blue, my brother showed up. I was shocked to see him, and happy. It was the first time since the trial that he came to my house, and he just came to scold me. Told me that my ex was in the infirmary after getting stabbed. An inmate tried to sexually assault him in his cell, resulting in my ex getting stabbed in the stomach and the inmate getting his spine broken. My brother screamed at me, "You did this," before going back to his truck. She did. I cried for days after that, because he was right. I did this. I tried to visit him at the infirmary, and I was still denied. For 4 additional years, I tried to talk to him and still wrote letters, but they were returned. Thankfully, our children visited their father a lot. That is how I learned that he was placed in protective custody by my brother since the attack. Through the years, my eldest went to the same college my ex attended, and he even took the same major. He only calls his siblings. He never wanted to talk to me. He never comes to the house for the holidays, only to his grandparents. My other son followed suit, by going to the same college and refusing to call me as well. My twins were hard on me, but they visited their father weekly, which bettered their mood, and whenever they got overly rebellious, they had their uncle to put them in place. But my brother and I still hardly spoke. I tried to visit his wife when they had their first child, but I was asked to leave. My mother kept me in the loop on what was happening in their lives. My father still refused to acknowledge me. Taking a break here just to say this. A lot of these cheaters want their life back. They want their family back. They want everything that they lost back. But here's my thing, right? Yo, I got my homies, right? The way my homies will drag me till the end of my life, knowing that I took back a cheater, is crazy. I can't win any battle no more. Oh man, you should have caught. Well, my bitch ain't cheat on me. The fuck is on with you? My bitch ain't cheat on me. At least my bitch love me enough to not cheat on me. And then the girl's gonna go, and then I have to go, oh baby, we'll fix this. Fuck out of here, bro. Fuck out of here, bro. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to think. She don't love you. She ain't loyal. Even if it's like emotionally cheating. Even if it's like, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it, Anissa. Even if it's like a girl like soliciting dick pics from someone else, or like trying to, you know what I mean? Do all that sexting shit. Like, that's still cheating. Like, it's still like, maybe it's not inherently cheating in the sense of like you're not having sex with the other person, or like, but inherently you're getting intimate with someone. You're still like facilitating that behavior. Let's keep going. At the beginning of May this year, my kids were happy and my sons came home. I didn't know why, and I didn't care. They were home. And I didn't care? This bitch is so stupid. You talked about getting your life. For 4 months, my children were around, and I did everything I could to show them how sorry I was. But I was mostly ignored. But they were talking to me, and it made me happy to have a conversation with them, to know what was happening in their lives. My eldest was dating a woman over a year. My second-born was on a college track team. Even my girls began to talk to me again, and I hated myself even more for what I did to them. Seeing them smiling again, joking, and eating dinner together, I missed it so much. You weren't at that table, bitch. At the end of August, I was all gearing up for the twins' first day of senior year, which also falls on their 18th birthday. I expressed my excitement over their birthday party, told them that I was planning what I was planning to do, and without hesitation, my girls asked me if we could do it on a different day. It confused me because I thought we were starting to get better. But when I asked why, one of them said, "It's because Dad is throwing us a party, and he didn't want you. I don't want you near him." That comment shocked me. I asked when their father was released, and they said he got out at the end of April for good behavior. I cried because he was out, and it broke me a bit more. They were around more because he was out. They were happier and cheerful because they had their father back in their lives. It wasn't because they were starting to heal. They had him back. I asked where he was staying, and they told me he was staying with my brother. I tried calling. I needed to talk to him, but he refused. I tried going over, holding all the letters that were returned through the years, and I saw him briefly through the door crack. I shouted out his name, and when I was asked to leave by my mother, I handed him the letters and left. When I got to the driveway, I heard his voice. I turned around and he was walking towards me. I instantly started crying and wanted to hug him. But he handed back my letters. You forgot this, he coldly said. He coldly said to me, and I cried watching him walk away. I begged him. I pleaded for him just to talk to me, and he just walked back into that house. My children were staring at me by the door, and they all had no love in their eyes for me. At that moment, I realized my children were just tolerating me. However, I still want to fix this. I want to tell them how selfish I was. I want to tell them how much I missed them. Tell them that I'm so sorry for destroying what we had. So I'm trying to still push through my daily life. I learned from my mother that my AP's ex-wife was visiting my ex 2 years ago, and they've been coming around to see him. I don't care, really. I just want him to somehow forgive me. I want him to talk to me. I want him to be beside me. I want him to look at me the way he used to. I want my kids beside us. I just want my family back. Yet I know I don't deserve it. Even by some miracle, if we become one again, it will never be the same. I was selfish, and I wish I could take it all back. That is where it all comes down to. You wish you can take it back. This is gone now. Because again, listen, if I have to live with the fact that my partner has cheated on me and I have to wake up in the same bed as the woman who once wasn't loyal to me, I can't live with that. I can't go to bed and wake up in that bed with the same partner that decided, hey, this man that I'm sleeping with wasn't enough at one time. That's not right. That's not right. And even if it's like some mentality of like, oh, it's a different person. It's like, no, I married you for the person that you are kind of now and kind of was in the beginning. Not magically in the middle was there a change of heart. I can get it if your past was your past, right? Because I've done some dumb shit to reconcile with my past too. I've done some really dumb shit, and Nisa even knows. I've apologized profusely, but that's not in my relationship. I acted stupid, yes, but I wasn't changing in my relationship. That's my point. My point is I am the man who I am now. That's all I am. Man, that sounded stupid. I'm not providing any context on that. All you guys can suck my dick. But my whole point is that the way I'd get ripped to shreds in my friend group if this happened to me and I took her back. And there's actually updates too, but sadly, it's from the son. I'll find the post right now. Here's the response from one of the eldest sons. I'm not going through everything here. It basically just goes down to like the grandparents passing away. One of the brothers became an alcoholic. One of the sisters almost committed suicide, and how there's a lot of issues going on in the house. And if we continue here, a lot of these posts were deleted. Oh my god, wait, what update on how we're doing? Oh my god, I didn't read this. Hold on. This is going to be new for me. I know the update's based on YouTube comments, but this is an update. Hello, this is an update to this post. I turned him into a monster. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god, wait, I'm so stupid. Oh, it's a comment, sorry. He was commenting on a different person's post, telling his story. That makes sense, because you can see a lot of this shit is deleted. But this was the post with the update. I have a little brother now and my mom is struggling. So, again, yeah, it was removed by Reddit's filters eventually. But after this, there was an update. This is like 2 years ago. That, supposedly from what I saw in YouTube comments and what I saw in this post's comments, is that the same guy, you know how the AP's ex-wife, who was cheated on by the guy, right? Cheated on by the guy. The man that got cheated on and the girl that got cheated on got together and got married and had a kid. And they love her too. And guess what? She shitted on the original mom. Listen, I know don't be spreading hate like that. Don't be spreading hate, but she shares the same sentiment as the father. The kids love her. It's perfect. I think it's perfect. He got his exact get back, and they love each other too. Inherently, like, here's how I even say it too. Because a lot of people, oh, damn, sorry about that. I'm going to get rid of the post now as well. How do I say this? A lot of people want to make comments about single moms and single dads, but you know, it all really comes down to circumstance. What one of the other partners did, right? So this partner, the female partner, decided to cheat for months, not just a one-time fling. It was for months, for 6 months. And after finding out, we all know what happened, but the kids are victims to that too. Again, one of the kids became an alcoholic. One of the kids almost committed suicide. You know, the whole entire family was going through it. They really had a fucked up family. And in that one post, the eldest brother that posted that, he said that, what is it? He had to be a surrogate parent to his kids, or to, fuck, not to his kids, sorry. This is why he comes to this channel, for me to fuck it up. But he had to be a surrogate parent to his siblings, the same way his father had to growing up. And he provides a lot of context for how the dad grew up. The dad grew up in a really rough environment, and I think the Bronx. He grew up really, really tough, and he had to do the same thing. His father was in prison, so he had to look after his own siblings. But eventually he committed himself to school, became a financial advisor, and met his original wife, which bare him the first 4 kids, which was beautiful. But then she went ahead and ruined it all, made him go to prison, and his own children had to become surrogated. I guess that would be the word, or have a surrogate parent out of the kids, which is completely evil and terrible. Completely evil. But I bet you're wondering what happened to the AP that cheated, the one that facilitated all of this. What it really comes down to is, from what that post said, like before it got archived, and what YouTube comments said, is that he is now disabled, crippled, disfigured, can barely walk without a cane, and oftentimes needs a wheelchair to go up high, like steps, like stairs. His life is permanently ruined, all because he wanted to sleep inside of a man's guest room. You know what? You know what? Here's my take on this too. It's the fact that they were so willing to sleep in their own house to get the woman's own house together. Oh, my headset died. Okay, you guys can witness me hooking up my headset because it wants to be a little bitch. There we go. Headset is plugged in. But in any case, it's the fact that they had the audacity to... Hello? Sorry. It's the fact that they had the audacity to do that in the family home's guest room. That's where I have an issue. Well, I have an issue with the entire thing, but that's where the biggest issue comes in, is that they got so comfortable in 6 months having an affair with each other that they thought it was entirely fair to continue that affair in the family home, in the guest room. Like, I'm not here to facilitate cheating at all, but if they didn't do that shit, they wouldn't have gotten caught, and if they did get caught, the response would have been so much lighter. He probably would still be extremely upset, probably still want the divorce, but not one person will get beat. He wouldn't have gotten like 5 years in prison. That man wouldn't have been disabled. Things would have went fine. Oh, and I bet you're wondering what happened to the mom. The mom is now under mental health watch in a mental health facility for extreme major depressive disorder or something like that, and she's consistently thinking, like, having suicidal ideations, which, I mean, despite what the fuck she did, I don't want nobody fucking dying. That's like the little bit of empathy in my autist brain and heart that I have, you know? That human life is precious, and despite that bitch, whore, maggot, cheating on her, not even her man, but her entire family, she still deserves a chance. And what I mean by that is, if I was in her position, which I would never be, I'd probably jump onto a moving car after that. And speaking of which, I would never do anything like that anyways. But, ooh, wait, hold on, you can, ooh, look at that, you can see a little hole in my hands. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. But if I was in her position, dead ass, what I would do, suitcase, pack up, we out. Move to an entirely different country, restart my whole fucking life. That's what you'd have to do. Because we still don't have closure on the friends. We don't have closure on the family. The family is divided within itself. The husband's family, well, they're still together, but they're grieving and they're hurt. They're extremely hurt. Everyone loves them together. But she ruined it out of her own selfishness. Their entire family was hurt. Her own family got split because of her decision. The mom thought she could support her and tell her everything was going to be all right. But the entire family was not deluded. They had to, excuse their own mother from their life. The sister lost a mother that day. The woman that cheated sister lost their mother that day. They lost their family that day because of her decision. And you're wondering, why is she still consistently thinking about getting that man back after starting a brand new family? Not brand new, but restarting the family with a beautiful new woman. It's because of the mom. From the comments on those Reddit posts, from YouTube comments everywhere, the general consensus is that the mom is the one continuously feeding the cheater's addiction to getting that life back. She's constantly making her think that if it's just one conversation away, if it's something else, they can finally get their lives back. I'm telling you right now, they will never get their lives back. And I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a personal story of a bitch that continues making me want to go to the gym to this very day. To this day. But in any case, let's take it back to high school. And all my homies from high school are going to love this story. I was grade 9, approaching grade 10. The most I ever engaged intimately with a girl was me kissing one, or she kissed me in grade 8 as she was walking out of the class, or walking out of the school for her graduation. I said, "You look beautiful." She said, "You look beautiful too." And that was before I looked like a fat shit. I was skinny back then with abs, but she kissed me, and that was it. I was excited. That was grade 7. And after that, I don't think I really had any engagement with any woman ever. I never got intimate or held a woman's hand after that ever. But then one day, as I was going to the amusement park, my friend brought a girl that we immediately hit it off, but I was too shy. I just chatted with her for a year. I was even too shy to show my face, so when we'd message on Snapchat, all you'd see is the wall. All you'd see is the wall. And one day, it was around the time Avengers Endgame dropped. I think it was the Friday it released. I texted her and told her, "Hey, I'm in love with you. I loved you since the beginning. We grieved a friend together. We've gone through so much together. You're the one person that..." Because at the time, I didn't have many friends either. So she was the one person that would understand me. So I said, "Would you be willing to be my girlfriend?" Just straight up. Because I'd imagine we fell in love with each other. Really. After developing a close bond for a year of us messaging every second of the day. We messaged every second of every day. We loved each other. At least that's what I'd like to think. And I remember I turned my phone on fucking silent. I shut it down. So while I was watching Avengers Endgame for the first time blind, I'm like, the adventure isn't over yet. When I'm home, I might just get a girlfriend for once. This might be my first proper girlfriend. And it was for a month. I took her on one date because, again, remember, I was shy. I didn't want to do nothing. So we go on our date, and I hugged her, loved her, kissed her on the first date. But again, with all context due, we've known each other for a year. We grieved a friend over a year. We've pretty much known everything about each other. And we developed an extremely, extremely close bond. But yet, after that day, a week goes by, and now she's texting me less. It's every other day. Now it's every 3 days. Now it's every 5 days. Now it's once a week. and then just complete disappearance. I try to get in contact with people from my, like, not friend group, but people that knew her from my high school. Nothing. Oh, can we be friends? She says maybe. I remember exactly how it went. I was in my grandma's basement working out. I just like started pumping iron and just crying on a voicemail saying, "Oh, I hope you come back. I hope you come back." I remember for a month after I was contacting her friend every day on voicemail, sending shit, going, "Oh, I wish that we could have been together, but it is what it is." And then I remember I had to do my National Lifeguarding Certificate. I failed that. I was too busy fucking around to compensate for the situation. I basically had the most fucked up summer, like, ever. Everything I did was in the hopes of getting her back, and my heartache was so strong. I remember I had to do community service work at the pool nearby my house, and I swear to you, every second was not My Beautiful. It was 808s and Heartbreak by Kanye West. Every day it was 808s and Heartbreak. Every day it was like, I want her back. This has to work. I have to get her back. And that same summer I would go to the cottage with my family and only do things with my family, because remember, I ain't got no friends back then. I'd have to go on Instagram and see her hanging around with the same person I was asking if we could just be friends, like the mediator. The same person. All of them, even the people that I were closest with, all of them hanging around with this chick, going out with them. The first time I've seen her going out ever, she practically dropped me for a group of friends, which I don't even know if they're all together anymore because they've all been fucked up and doing a bunch of bullshit, which I'm not going to expose online because I'm a nice person. But, in that moment, I felt cheated on. I felt betrayed. Obviously, I wasn't cheated on, but I felt so betrayed. I felt terrible. I'd be using Snapchat just looking, seeing what she's up to. Because remember, she removed me. I didn't remove her. I can still watch her stuff. She can't, you know what I mean? I'm basically a passive follower now. She doesn't follow me. I'm the follower. I see her going on trips with these friends, doing things I always wanted to do, and it solidified this idea in my mind that I will forever be the test dummy for women. Women date me to then go and live a better life. And that stung even more than just the heartache. But all I thought about was my life would change so drastically if she just came back. If everything just went back to the way it was, things would change. And guess what? Over the years, I had to come to the conclusion. It took around, so it was grade 9, grade 10, so it was grade 11, grade 12. Roughly like 2 years, I'd say. 2 years it took for me to then realize, okay, this is never getting better. Nothing will ever happen. This is done. And I really had to come to that conclusion. And after that conclusion, I decided to finally open my walls and start actually dating again. But that's what I mean. It took time. It took time for me to go out of my way to process what happened, for me to then go, okay, we have to do something different. So then I started dating, and we all know how that story goes. I end up meeting Anissa after countless of dates, countless of, might I say, terrible dates, absolutely dog shit dates. I end up meeting her, and I couldn't ask for a better partner. And really what I'm saying is, what this all comes down to is, if someone's continuously feeding you this idea that you can get back together, it feeds a high in your mind. Leaving it to time and processing it and crying about it gets it out. Like, that's really what it is. Like, there's so many fucking red pill YouTubers on here that want to talk about how to process a breakup. You want to know how to really process a breakup? You want to know how to really process a really shit, like, happening to you? Time. Give it time. Don't involve more people than you need to. When this woman involved her mom so egregiously into her problems, that's when it already just fucked up from the jump. Because now, as she's healing and goes, okay, maybe this thing's done. Maybe I should just move on, go to a new city. They're happy now. The mom goes, no, there's still a chance. And she goes, You know what I mean? This chick wants to fucking this chick wants to constantly believe that what she had can get back, but she doesn't realize that if she just looks a little bit further into the future, there's something better out there, you know? Like, so what? This family's done. You're not needed anymore. You know? All relations probably got signed off to the new wife. She is the new wife of their kids. And again, it makes sense. They all went through the same thing. Of course, that's the new mom. It only makes sense. And for this cheater to continuously think that what she had can come back, no, it can't. It can't. You have to spend at least 5, maybe upwards to 10 years. Yeah, you'll be 49 by then, but good fucking luck in the dating pool. You're gonna have to work on yourself and find a person that will accept you at your age and after all your decision making. Because in all honesty, you know, you can't come back to this. This is done. It's over. And really what this is, I think the last thing I'll say is that this entire story, the reason why I shared it, is that this is a cautionary tale for people who have really shit, like, people around them. Because when it comes down to it, this cheater, this wife, could have easily just said no and walked away. But especially with what the mom was influencing her to do after the fact, it makes me believe that there's a lot of people around her that made her think that these decisions were valid, that what she felt was valid. I feel like the way her mom would have approached it, if she were to have talked to her about her having the affair or starting the affair, she would have went, oh, well, with my walking cane, oh, well, you know, affairs are bad, but you're allowed to feel the way you feel, you know? You're allowed to feel like your man isn't doing enough, you know? And then she could be like, yeah. I hope she finds this. I hope she finds this, because this is what you did, bitch. What else? What's left for there to say about this conversation, you know, or this story, you know what I mean? But really what it showed to me too, biggest thing, what I'll say is, I mean, even the last thing I'll mention is that when it comes to these stories, one decision can ruin, like, yours and other people's lives. I even looked it up too, like, on a similar note. Why are there so many DUIs on these fucking dash cam videos? Or on these police dash cam videos? Why are there so many people that still think, after all the fucking Mothers Against Drunk Driving and all of these fucking, like, corporations, why is it that there's still issues with it? Why are there still people drunk driving? You know why? It's because of their own perception and judgment. I looked it up on Reddit, like, why are people still doing this? It's because they earnestly believe that they are a strong drinker, that I'm never gonna get in a crash. I could have despite the clear warnings not to. Maybe they had a fucking flawless time driving home one time without any alcohol in their system. The one time they end up doing it and they hit the curb, they press on that fucking gas pedal and everyone just kablooey in that car. Man, I really downplay drunk driving. But no, what I mean to say is that when it comes down to it, the people around you and how you facilitate your own mental health is really what this all comes down to. It's your judgment. If you honestly think that you can still drive well after drinking 5 beers or 3 beers, fuck off. Like, I can't lie. I'm gonna call my friend out. He's like, it's just one drink. Fuck you. I love you, though. I hope you know that. I might cut that out, but I love you. I think I'm going to cut that out. But you know what? I'm going to say this, though. There's one friend who keeps telling me to have a drink. Just one drink, Tyler. Just one drink. Shut the fuck up! Anyways, I think that's the video. I'm losing my damn mind. It's 45 minutes. Like, comment, subscribe, all that nonsense. I promise I won't be making more Reddit videos like this unless something even worse comes on my timeline, which then I'm gonna talk about it, but I love y'all. Peace out.